The R1 million World Pool Gold Cup over 3,200 metres at Hollywood Bates Greyville is South Africa's premier race for stayers. The top horses are all represented and vying for the crown of Equus Champion Stayer at the annual awards next month. We go through the full field of 15 runners in market order, starting with the favourite, Future Pearl. Number 3, Future Pearl, was a 3-length winner of the Grade 3 World Sports Betting Gold Bowl over 3,200 metres at Turfentine in May, and an easy winner of the Grade 3 DSTV Gold Vase over 3,000 metres on Hollywood Bets Durban July Day 4 weeks ago.
Future Pearl comes thundering away from them.
Yes, he's doing really well, Michelle. Obviously, his 2 wins over the marathon trip have been really good. Funny enough, both of them were in softer underfoot conditions, so you just wonder if that had something to do with how well he won both of those races. But yeah, he's obviously had a lovely prep. He's doing really well. He's got a good draw.
Yeah.
The weight, it's a lot of weight for a 3-year-old to carry in the Gold Cup, but I suppose he's 4 next month. Yeah, there are a couple of horses better weighted than he is, but he must have a very good chance.
Future Pearl is attempting to emulate the 2017 feat of Hermoso Mundo by landing the unofficial Stayers Triple Crown. Previous Grade 1 winner is number 13, ARAGOSTA. He finished less than 2 lengths second to Runaway Song in the Grade 3 Track and Ball Derby over 2,400 metres at Hollywood Bet Scottsville in June.
ARAGOSTA second.
And again to Crimson King in the Grade 3 Splash Out 2200 at Hollywood Bets Greyville 4 weeks ago.
ARAGOSTA second.
He's not a horse that gives away a lot. He ran in the race last year and got way too far back. You know, I suppose the jury's out at 3-2. I think it's okay for him, but I mean, whether he stays at January or not, I don't know. His last run was very good.
Yeah.
If he reproduces that, he should be in the top 4.
Draw 13, is that an issue over a trip like this?
You wouldn't think so, but I mean, you always like a good draw, so you get a good spot for nothing, you know. So he's going to have to work to get a good position.
Number 14, Crimson King, bounced back to form when winning the Grade 3 Splash Out 2200 at Hollywood Bets Greyville last time out. He's drawn wide in 14, but will benefit from the same trainer-jockey combination that recently won the Hollywood Bets Durban July with Winchester Mansion.
Obviously a step up in trip for him over the 3-2. He did run in the race last year, but he did struggle. He's recently moved to our stable, and his form since arriving with us has just got better and better with each and every run. He's in very good form. His last win was pretty impressive. He has a little bit of a deep draw to overcome, but he has had a flawless preparation leading up to this race. And on the strength of that, I think he's a horse that must be considered in all your permutations on the day.
Number 4, ARUMUGAM, found the frame in the Grade 3 World Sports Betting Caradoc Gold Cup over 2,850 metres in April at Turfentine, and again in the Grade 3 World Sports Betting Gold Bowl over 3,200 metres in May at Turfentine. He's under sufferance at the weights, but trainer Wayo Mawing, who enjoys a good record with stayers, has in-form apprentice Caden Brewer back in the irons.
You know, he's drawn well at 4. You know, obviously with the higher rated horses, they've obviously, it's a conditions race, so he's sort of obviously out at the weights, you know. But he's a young horse, he's a decent little stayer. We've had a lot of fun with him, Stephen and his family. Work-wise, he's working fairly well. I actually sent him back to Joburg because I couldn't really do much of the stamina work here. And my son is there with him at the moment, Warwick, and he's really back to himself. You know, obviously his Gold Vase run was a bit disappointing, but he pulled so hard that day. So
ARUMUGAM's making strides for stride as they go down towards the 1,100 metre marker.
You know, it's one of those things, but yeah, I'm quite happy with where the horse is now. I'm happy that I could do the stamina work with him, and we're looking forward to the race.
Number 6 is Shangani. Paul Peter trained the horse to victory in the race last year. His son Tony now has Shangani and goes for a double of wins, and it could just favour him. With the bottom weight changed to 54 kilograms last year, and along with the compression of weights based on normal handicapping, only Shangani, who carries the top weight of 60 kilos, is not under sufferance in this year's field. He's coming in having had 3 below par runs, but interestingly, he posted similar results ahead of last year's race when going on to win under 59 kilos. He jumps from a good draw of 6 with Craig Zaki in the irons. Number 7 is NEBRAAS, stable companion to the favourite Future Pearl. As a previous Equus champion stayer and multiple graded stakes winner, he's evergreen.
But NEBRAAS will beat Shangani.
Hong Kong-based Lau Hewitson rode NEBRAAS to victory in this race 2 years ago and is reunited with him here.
I think he's spot on for the race. He's got a reasonable weight. I think he's only added the weights with Shangani. He reunites with Lau, which I think is going to be a good thing. And I don't think he'll be far off them. I think he'll be giving us something to shout about.
Number 10, One-Way Traffic, will need to regain the form which saw him win the Grade 3 Vodacom 2200 at the same course 13 months ago. One-Way Traffic and Salvator Mundi represent champion trainer-elect Justin Snaith.
And One-Way Traffic wins by 3-4.
I think he's going better into this race. We sort of a little bit more cautious in knowing exactly what's going on in the yard. The July day was certainly a problem, and I think that I've sort of ironed out a few things that certainly will put this horse into play. He's a horse you certainly cannot leave out. I do think if the right one-way traffic arrives on the day over this distance, he's definitely one of the best stayers in the country. He's such a good stayer that we normally run him over 2,000 because we think he's that talented. So certainly the dark horse of the race, a horse that they're counting out, and I wouldn't. He's very talented. He gets on very well with Grant, and a horse that only due to the season we've had am I running him in the Gold Cup. Had he had a more successful season, I would have taken him home. As I said, wouldn't surprise me to see him right there if I can just iron out a few things this week.
Blackthorn on the outside, trying to put it stride together.
Number 11, Blackthorn, finished 4th to Shangani in this race last year. He came back from 6 months off the track to run 3.5 lengths 4th in the Grade 3 Splash Out 2200 over 2,200 metres at Hollywood Bets Greyville 4 weeks ago. This will be his second run after the rest.
Yeah, the second run scenario isn't ideal. His last run was very good. I think he'll run very, very well. I think he's still got another bit of improvement in him though. You know, the prep hasn't, the prep's been ideal in terms of his well-being, but I would love to have had 2 runs going into the race. However, last time I was very surprised at how well he ran on.
What do you make of the spread of weights, with the minimum weight having been raised to 54? It seems most of the field are under sufferance.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't know where the harebrained scheme came from. I'd like to see a long handicap, horses handicapped all the way down and make it a true handicap betting gambling race. But clearly there's people that have got other ideas. So anyway, they seem to tinker with everything every year, so maybe they'll change them next year, who knows.
Number 6, Fight Song, stepped up in class last time, finishing 3 lengths behind the favourite, Future Pearl, in the Grade 3 DSTV Gold Vase over 3,000 metres on Hollywood Bets Durban July Day 4 weeks ago.
Fight Song, Rex Union third.
Fight Song and Seamaster represent Gold Cup winning trainer of 2020, Gareth van Zyl.
Fight Song is a horse who it's very hard to get consecutive honest runs out of. He's probably one of the most, or he is definitely one of the most frustrating horses I've trained, because he's got a lot of ability, but he just doesn't reproduce it when you most think he will and expect it. So last time it was pretty much a run out of desperation, throwing him in over 3,000 and seeing how it goes, and it went well. maybe that's what he's looking for, the distance, we're hoping. But if he does settle, because he needs to settle, he's got the ability to turn it on, which is a great asset in a race like the Gold Cup when most horses will be stopping.
Number 1, RAISEAHALLELUJAH, was half a length second to Seamaster in the Grade 3 Lonsdale Stirrup Cup over 2,800 metres at Hollywood Bets Greyville in May. He's drawn in 1 but is under sufferance at the weights.
Seamaster just saw them out. RAISEAHALLELUJAH.
He's doing really nicely in Durban. He's actually stayed down there. This has always been a targeted race for us, so hoping it's been worth the wait.
The big striding son of Twice Over is number 2, SENSO UNICO. He'll want a good pace to be competitive and is seen finishing less than a length behind SALVATOR MUNDI in the Grade 2 New Turf Carriers Western Cape Stayers over 2,800 metres at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth in January.
He's drawn very well. He's drawn at 2, and Sean Veal's riding him. He's got 55 on his back, 55 and a half, I think. Yeah, he's a decent stayer. You know, he ran some good races in the Cape Summer season in big staying races, and even though he finished a couple of lengths off them on July Day, he ran a very good race in the 3,000 metre race. He came from last to run 4th. So, you know, since then he's progressed, and I'm very, very happy with his work.
Future Pearl comes thundering away from them. Fight Song, Rex Union 3rd, and SENSO UNICO. Seamaster been doing the buying and the bidding by a length.
Number 12, Seamaster, was a narrow winner of the Grade 3 Lonsdale Stirrup Cup over 2,800 metres at Hollywood Bets Greyville in May. Like stable companion Fight Song, Seamaster is under sufferance at the weights.
Seamaster just saw them out.
The draw is not preferable for him. However, having said that, it gives us the opportunity to perhaps stay out of the hustle and bustle early on and just to see what happens. Last time out we took our medicine from the wide draw and it didn't turn out well for us. He over-raced behind a slow pace, so we wouldn't want to become put ourselves in that kind of a situation again and become victims of circumstance. So we'll be a bit more positive. Atendiwa knows him very well. He gets along with him very well, and he's a horse that we have earmarked for this race a few months ago. Mike de Horst had sat down with me and asked me to earmark this race if I agreed, which I do 100%. I just think he just needs to settle, which will be possible as long as he's not just cramped up behind them. He seems to just not like that. So a horse who's definitely in a happy and a good space though, and we're looking forward to seeing how he goes.
Stable companion to one-way traffic is number 15, SALVATOR MUNDI. He was a half a length winner of the Grade 2 New Turf Carriers Western Cape Stayers over 2,800 metres at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth in January. He's drawn widest of all and seems to prefer other tracks.
Great jockey, Gavin Larena. He's won on him before in a big race. But also he doesn't do well in Natal. He certainly does a lot better in the Cape season. Bad draw, shocking draw. Very hard to negotiate a draw like this. To remember where the race starts, and then we go, we start and then Polly, sharp turn. Very hard one to negotiate. Need a bit of luck. Look, you can overcome it and have a bit of luck in running, but certainly from that draw, any chance I think we may have had is going to be complete hit and miss.
Number 8, ROCKIE REEF, is one of 2 fillies in the race and a useful stayer, but is under sufferance at the weights.
But ROCKIE REEF won it off Ernie King second.
Obviously she's taken a big step up in class. I thought her last run in the Oaks was particularly pleasing. She did get penalised, I think, 12 points for that race, which actually allowed her to get into the Gold Cup, and that's the rationale behind me running her in the Oaks. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made the cut. She's from an outstanding female line. If you look through her 3rd dam, just champion stayers of Europe, and she does stay very well. Her work's been good. If the Gold Cup was run today, she's ready to go today. She's
She's very fit. She's a filly that doesn't take a lot of work anyway. She's very light frame, tall, leggy filly, but she's done everything right. Tristan Godden rides her. He's ridden her on a number of occasions and won on her, and he gets on particularly well with her. Strategy-wise, I just want him to put her to sleep for the first mile. So it doesn't really matter where she's positioned. Obviously, it's the marathon trip, so you've got to leave a lot in the tank for the last 3 furlongs or so. But I do expect her to be finishing off her race. And with the conditions of the race being only a 6 kilo spread, it puts her under sufferance. But over that trip, I think you probably should reflect 3 merit rating points as a kilo as opposed to the 2, which puts her in a much better position in the race, weight-wise. So we're just hoping that she can lift her game to that level, and I have no doubt in my mind she won't be one of the ones tiring down the straight.
It's flying first class, gone 2 lanes clear.
9-time winner is number 9, Flying First Class. This 5-year-old mare is competitive but is under sufferance at the weights.
She's a proven stayer. She's up against the boys, out at the weights. But if you go back to her Vars run, she ran a credible race, expecting her to be right there. If we can have her handy, she'll give a good account of herself.
What do you make of the spread of weights this year? Because most of the field seem to be under sufferance with Shangani.
Yes, obviously the lower down you go in the weights, the more under sufferance they are. The horses at the bottom, a lot of them are big sufferance, 7 kilos, 8 kilos. So yeah, if you study your form and study the ratings, you should definitely be able to go with the better weighted horses. And it doesn't look to be that open. It's probably 4 or 5 horses that can actually win. So yeah, study your form. I think you'll get the answers.